Hi everyone, it's Ketan Makwana here from Enterprise Lab. I hope you're well and welcome to another edition of the League of Disruptors show. As I've been saying through this month, we've just had a power pack of experts and professionals and business people coming in and telling us about their businesses and putting that spotlight on the genius. And I really wanted to keep the momentum rolling. And what can I say about the guest that I've got on the show today? I mean, amazingly powerful man. He's been doing so much stuff on the international scene. What can I say? He's an author, he's a pro athlete, an Ironman, a Thai boxer. If there's anyone that's done it all, I think this guy has pretty much done it all, to say the least. But I'm really excited to have Jean-Pierre De Villiers on the show tonight. And we've aptly named this show, how to create a life or an extraordinary life, because this is what this man does. It's not just he's got an extraordinary life, but he actually injects this into other people. So, welcome to the League of Disruptors show, Jean-Pierre. It's great to have you.
Thank you very much, dude. Thanks, Ketan, for having me. I was just actually trying to share your feed to get more awareness of this, and it started playing live, and I was hearing myself, and I was
That's what happens. It's the League of Disruptors. We just disrupt everything.
Deep breath, back in state.
Back in state. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, fantastic. I'm just glad we finally got to make this happen. So you're a persistent man, and I was wanting to make this happen. So yeah, would it take us a month, 2 months? I don't know, but here we are.
Yeah, it's one of those things we just keep going for it, and I think it's going to be one of those with anything in life. I think nature will take its course, and there'll be a natural crossover, and boom. So I was really stoked when you got back last week and said, right, let's do this. So it was excellent. So look, you've got a very rich content of life in terms of the experiences and everything that you've been through and done and achieved, and even more to what you're going to be achieving over the next this year and beyond. But for some of our guys that are watching today, both live and obviously on the recorded, it'd be really good to get a little bit more background on you as a person, how you got to where you are today and what you're doing. So over to you, my friend.
Well, rather than try and bore you for an hour, I will give a quick summary of my life, where I am now, where I came from, and then I'm sure throughout the course of the next 45 minutes to an hour, we'll kind of dip in and out of my story as it relates, and as we bring it up, and how it resonates with what we're talking about. So today I'm a speaker and a coach and an athlete. I do live an extraordinary life. Do I live a perfect life? Absolutely not. My life is definitely not perfect, but just like in fitness, my life principle is always be better today than I was yesterday. So what does an extraordinary life look like for me today, and then what does it look like for me tomorrow, and how can I grow into that person and mold myself into the human being that I've always wanted to be? So my life is fantastic. I speak all around the world. Like I said, I'm an athlete. I'm an endurance athlete. Last year, I did a lot of triathlons and Ironman distance events, endurance events, and I've done Muay Thai, Thai boxing, had a few professional fights, and did cycling before that. So sport and fitness or peak performance has always been a theme in my life, always. Well, except for about 3 years when I was in my early 20s. So, and I'll come back to that. And today I'm known as the CEO coach. I work with highly successful people who are doing incredibly well, but they know that there's certain areas that they need to address for them to really go to that top level. And I just work with them as a personal coach and help them see their blind spots, give them the truth, help them give themselves the truth, and then hold them accountable. So I would say that basically I hold people accountable to being, what language can I use here?
Anything and everything. It's the League of Disruptors.
I hold people accountable to being fucking awesome.
Yes.
I don't believe anyone should live an average life, and anyone has to live an average life. And I know that with certainty, because I had nothing growing up. On and off, I had things around me. Sometimes I had a bit of money, sometimes I had no money. But up here, I had nothing. I had zero confidence, zero self-belief. I had zero ability to wing it through school. I had nothing. So if I can become the person I am, so can everyone else. So I like to unleash the awesomeness in people. And there's 3 ways I do it today, which is my free events, my workshops, my 2-day seminars, which is basically teaching everything I know. And then I have 1 week full immersion events where people spend a week with me and we actually put into practice what you have learned at the 2-day event. So that's me, athlete, coaching, and speaking and running events. As you know, I'm going to South Africa this month, next month, February, to do a national tour of my country with Success Resources, standing on the shoulders of giants, as I said in a Facebook post the other day.
Yeah.
So grateful, honestly. And like I said, my life isn't perfect. I've not made it. I'll never think that I've made it, but I'm making it every day. And that's what matters for anyone. Was my life always like this, that I always just think that, it was going to be easy, I'm going to be successful? Absolutely not. Like I said, I had it really tough growing up. I was bullied pretty much throughout school. There were times where money was non-existent. I almost went to foster care. I lost my father to suicide when I was very young. It wasn't a pretty picture. Okay, we moved around a lot. Am I saying, oh, look at me, I'm a victim? Absolutely not. But just to help you and the guests on the show paint a picture, this is where I came from. Yeah. When I was about 22, 23, 20, I moved to London. 23, I had looked back at my life and realized since moving to London, I'd become a 100%, 1000% hedonist, and I was living a hedonistic lifestyle, and I was a rock star and a DJ, and I'm not even going to go in how we got into that lifestyle. And at about 23, 24 years old, I was at the rock star moment in my DJ career. Now, bear in mind, all I'd ever known up until I left South Africa was fitness. Even though I faced so many challenges, so much adversity, I was always keeping fit and being healthy. So now I went the other way, and at about 23, 24, I ended up in New Year's Eve in Riga in Latvia, playing at a big club and just being the most unhealthiest person I've ever been in my life. Toxic. You can imagine what I was toxic with, emotionally, physically, alcohol, drugs. And I just hated my life. I felt horrible. I felt incredibly unfulfilled. And the big thing for me was I was a rock star, right, quote unquote, but I was doing absolutely nothing for humanity. And I knew from a kid that I always wanted to help people. So I made a decision in that moment. And did my life change like that? Absolutely not. It took about 15 years. Wink, wink. That's how much later we are now. Wow. But I'm changing all the time. But coming back from Riga back to London, I realized that this isn't how I wanted to live my life. I wanted to be something more. I wanted to do something more. And it was partly motivated, or my motivational driver was the fact that I lost my father when I was 13 because he did everything wrong. And I realized that I was doing life wrong. I was getting it wrong, and I needed to figure out how to get it right. So I got into coaching. I found a coach. My coach, my friend, gave me some coaching. He told me to watch a very American cheesy movie called The Secret. Yeah. And he he told me to start following a guy named Tony Robbins. So I started doing all of these things, and for the first time in my life, I had a positive role model, the size of a building, with teeth bigger than me, Tony Robbins. I started to watch The Secret over and over and over again and realized that my thoughts were creating my reality. I'd never, ever been told this before, that what I was thinking was creating my world. That was crazy. Yeah. I watched The Secret about 100 times. On the 101st time, I wrote down every single quote from The Secret. I had 4 pages of quotes, 54 quotes in total. And I decided that for me to condition myself into believing these things like Tony was teaching me at the time, I had to read them every day. So I read all the quotes from The Secret. Whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right. Your thoughts are creating your reality. John D. Martini, Jack Canfield, Martin Luther King. You don't have to see the whole staircase. You just have to take the first step. I ingrained these things into my brain, and then I just followed Tony. And the third thing I did was I went back to what I loved. And that for me was always fitness. I'm not saying anyone else has to have the passion for fitness that I have, but that was my thing. That was my drive. That's the one thing that I could do every day that made me come alive. So I did those 3 things. I immersed myself in what I loved. I studied every day and modeled Tony, and I started to change the way I thought and the way I lived. And over 15 years, I went from a getting a job in a gym to becoming a personal trainer, doing award-winning personal training, working with celebrities.
Oh, you're still there? Yeah, still there. Yeah. Keep going. Working with celebrities.
Working with celebrities. I coached James Cracknell. I did a Duracell advert in the London Eye, training James Cracknell around in the London Eye. I did some awesome things as a personal trainer, but because I had changed my life so significantly, and as Tony Robbins says, 80% of success is psychology, I knew very quickly that I wasn't fulfilled by personal training, but I was fulfilled by helping people change their mind and change their life. So I naturally progressed to coaching. I wrote a few books. I became more and more known as a coach. Then I started speaking, and the rest is history, really. So
it's a phenomenal story. And look, there is so much that you've achieved, and like you say, it's never been an overnight thing. It's taken a good proportion, 15 years of your life to really sort of turn things around. And I think there's so many people in the audience today that are resonating with this, and I just want to go out and say hi to a few people, and just so we've got viewers from we've got viewers from South Africa, we've got viewers from the US. Karen's online, she's got talent finders out there, she's saying hello. Ben Austin's joined us, she's listening in Santon traffic, so she's letting you know. Carmen Mikkel's on, Beiju saying hello.
Santon traffic, come see me in Joburg.
Exactly, I'm sure she will. Jeff Nemeth has just joined, he's on his commute in the States. Paul Cisse, founder of National Diversity Awards, he's resonating with your story. Great legacy and significance is what Karen's talking about here. And Maya Chudzik is on as well, and I think she's a fan of yours as well. Eric Ho's also joined us as well, so we've got some superstars on here watching today.
That guy, Eric, if you're still listening, I want to work with you, man, because there's many different speakers and trainers out there, and I just love what Eric's doing. And there's a saying in my life: it's not about me, it's about we. It's not about what I get, it's about what I give. Doesn't matter if I'm speaking to 1,000 people, I get nervous, and as soon as I say that to myself, it takes everything away and reminds me of my big why, and that's how can I give. And that guy, Eric, I want to do those school builds with you, the community work with you. I want to do some cool stuff with you, man. So, yeah, Eric, thanks for checking in.
Yeah, Eric, actually, if you're still watching as well, we need to get you on the show as well. So I'll touch base. Eric is absolutely awesome. So look, JP, if you don't mind me calling you JP, I'd like to. I want to go back a little bit, because through everything that you just said, you were, you've had some controversy, and you've had some highs and lows, and more particular lows in your sort of younger age. Losing your father at such a young age as well has that impact. But there was something that you said about the fact that there were certain things that your father did wrong, and I think this was a motivator for you in terms of where you wanted to turn. Add to this the fact that as you came through that kind of period where you became the rock star, and your life was actually changing in terms of the materialistic things were around you, but I think self-satisfaction wasn't really there. You weren't entirely, you were happy with what you had, but you're not happy with what you wanted from within. This kind of, you went through this motion of actually studying, people like Tony, and watching The Secret countless times over, and getting these quotes through. But there's one particular word that you used, and that was that word toxic. And I want to kind of bring back, just for a little while in terms of this conversation, the fact that I know fitness and health and well-being is an integral part of your lifestyle, and it's very important for you in this particular way. But the word toxic itself, I think people trying to make a change within their own lives, or they get inspired by people like you that tell their your story about how you've emerged through. The word toxic itself, it can come in so many different ways and shapes and forms. I mean, whether it's alcohol, drugs, or environments. With the people that you work with, those, whether it's from your workshops to your seminars, what is it that you kind of, you embody in people to say, look, how do they realize what is toxic in their life? Because sometimes you could be very judgmental and say, this is the bit that's causing me problems, and actually it couldn't be. What do you believe people need to do to actually understand and embody what is toxic in their life?
Really good question. I hope I can answer it as well as you put the question. But first of all, for me, when I referred to toxic before, it was in that moment when I was in Riga, I was in the Radisson Hotel, I was drunk, I was high, we're talking, 15 years ago now, whatever.
Yeah.
I felt so toxic physically because obviously everything that I'd consumed, but in everyday life, we are always consuming things. Now, if you think of ROI, but not return on investment, but return on ingestion, every single thing that we consume physically, whether it's food, whether it's hydration, whether it's information from people, it's either adding to our life or taking away. It's either supplying us with a surplus of energy or it's actually robbing us of energy. So for me, toxicity, number one, is what you're taking in. It doesn't matter whether that's through food, through sugar, through carbohydrates, drugs, chemicals, nicotine, alcohol, but it's also through stress. Stress applied onto you by other people. So I choose the people in my life very carefully. You would have heard, I'm sure that most people on the show would have heard of toxic people, right? So for me, toxic is someone that doesn't add to my life. And you have to be honest a lot in your life and say, even when it comes to family, after an interaction with someone, do I feel like I'm in ease right now, or do I feel toxic? And therefore, what do I need to do to change this relationship? Because based on the principle that we are the sum of the people we spend the most time with, do I want to be dying inside, or do I want to be thriving? And who do I need to surround myself with for me to thrive? You see, it's very easy to feel like an Olympic athlete if you surround yourself with Olympic athletes. It's very easy to feel like a champion, really feel in your gut like a champion. If you're hanging out with the Muhammad Ali's and the Conor McGregors, it wouldn't be very difficult. So toxicity from other people is number one. Another form of toxicity for me would be your inner thoughts, your inner language, your inner dialogue. What chatter do you have going on? You can have the greatest life on the outside. Now, my father, he had terrible toxicity. He was never focused on what he had. He was an incredibly intelligent man. At his funeral, people were queuing outside the church because he was so popular. He was a great guy. He would sell, like, at one point in his life, he was selling like 10 million let's say £1 million diggers, and he was flying around the world selling diggers because the company knew that if anyone was going to be able to sell it was my dad, Jerry. So he was smart, intelligent, popular. He was cool. He was a playboy, but he never focused on what he had. He always focused on what was missing from his life. And this created massive amounts of toxicity. Now, gratitude and love for me are the things that create grace and ease in my life and remove all toxicity. I made them the rules for my life. You can see there, gratitude and love. Amazing. Love. These are my rules for my life, because I know if I focus on only these two things, my life can never be toxic, because I'm always focused on what I can be grateful for, and gratitude creates love. You see, you can't be, I think Tony Robbins says this, you can't be grateful and resentful, or grateful and angry, or grateful and fearful at the same time. And resentment, anger, and fear all create toxicity. So what are you saying?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Please finish.
I was going to say, so what are you saying to yourself? I'm speaking to everyone on this show. What are you saying to yourself every single day? Because what we say is mostly repetitive. What are you saying to yourself? And does it make you feel free? Does it make you come alive? Does it make you feel energized? Or do you feel like you're toxic?
It's so simple, yet so effective. I mean, you know, to culminate that, you kind of you're almost suggesting and you're stating that we become a prisoner to our thoughts and feelings, and in that kind of environment, like you say, with your father, it was what's missing rather than what you had. You have this epicenter and nucleus of gratitude and love, which kind of sets you free from that toxicity.
Can I share one more thing? Just one more.
Please, yes.
I believe you can get inspiration anywhere, right? And I get inspiration from a lot of role models in my life. One of those role models is my former president, Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela got asked, after he was released from 27 years in prison, how can you not hate the people that put you in prison? And he said, if I still hated them, I'd still be in prison. Yeah, so having resentment and anger is like drinking poison and expecting it to kill your enemies. So that for me rings true all the time.
That's it's powerful. It is. It's very, very powerful. In fact, I've got a question that's come in already, and I'm going to add my little bit to it as well. Kevin's talking about, what's your opinion on the number of people of lately that of late that have come in and said that they're a coach, or they're an author, but they don't have the jack to back. And if so, what's your view on this? And what I want to add to that is this context about chasing people as well. I think, I have this kind of beast where whenever I'm actually on stage, I do tell people, don't chase them, do what you've got to do, and those that are supposed to be in your life will be there, they'll remain there.
Yeah.
So sometimes in relationships, in life, we love people, we lose people. We can have co-founders in businesses that, partnerships kind of fall away in this respect. So it's a double-edged sword question. The first part about it, which is straight in with Kevin's asking your opinion on the number of people that are in this kind of space trying to help, and their ability and inability. So I guess there's a little bit to do with ethics there. And then on the other side, I want you to kind of maybe give me some of your gauge about how people, inspiration comes from everywhere, but I think we often get consumed by chasing these people as well. So over to you. Let's see what you can come up with that.
This definitely is the Disruptor show, hey?
Yeah, of course. And my viewers will disrupt you. So let's go.
Yeah. Wow. What do I have to say about that? First of all, with regards to chasing people, let me move backwards. So I'll come to the second thing you said, which is chasing people.
Yeah.
I'm going to relate it to coaching, to business, or any business for that matter, and maybe even to speaking. I've tried to do in my career, I've failed many, many, many times. And I don't need to go into this and do the whole, your successes come from your failures. Everyone knows that. I'm sure that most people know that anyway, especially if they listen to your shows, they would have known that by now. But in business, you try many different strategies. You look at many different tools and you see which tool fits best for you. And the hard selling thing has never really worked for me because, and I know this is a very wishy-washy phrase today, but I do my best to stay authentic, to stay real, and to stay me. To really be me. And I've learned many different strategies for selling and chasing clients, but this is what I truly believe. People buy people. And if someone trusts you, they like you, they trust you, and they want to spend more time with you, you do not need to sell. Obviously, once you have that person being in contact with you, it's only if you believe in your product and your service, it's your obligation to close that sale, right? But leads should come to you, whether it is you put something online, whether it is you go speak somewhere, whether it is you're promoting something. If people like you and they trust you and they want to spend more time with you, they'll buy for you. So I don't chase. Now, is that the right way or the wrong way? I don't know. I never say in my life, in my teachings, in my trainings, in my events, that I have the right way or the right answer or the holy grail or the magic pill. I just share my experience, and the people on this podcast, or whatever it's called, a podcast, right? On this podcast, they can take it for what it is. But for me, it just doesn't work. So when I run my events, I give content, and at the end of the event, about 10 minutes, I say, if you want to come take a journey with me, this is what I have left. Boom, 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 boom. You can come sign up if you want at the back of the room. But at the beginning of all my events, I say, guys, there's 3 things I'm going to do. I'm going to share my personal story with you so you can relate to me. I'm going to give you high valuable content. And then right at the end, I'm going to give you an opportunity to work with me further. Is that okay? So I don't chase people. I don't know if that answers your question. Does that answer your question?
To a certain degree, it does, actually, because it's the very nature of the fact that when we're chasing people on both sides, whether it's a customer or whether it's someone in the inspirational field, we become a completely different person. There is also an element of, and I'm going to use your word, toxicity in that itself. The very nature of your attitude and your behavior towards whatever it is, whether you're chasing for the customer or you're chasing someone that you want to be connected
Yeah.
with. It leans you to be someone that you are not actually authentically are. I love the way that, you know, when you kick off your programs, you give this kind of openness and transparency. This is what we're
transparency
gonna do.
Straight away.
This is where it is, and you know, and I love the bit that you say at the end as well. If you want to join me in the journey, it's, you know, it's your choice. It's not something that
you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it empowers people rather than actually forcing them, you know, into a particular way. So I think coming into that kind of thing about chasing people, it's especially within our industry as well. It's kind of, there's so many people, it's kind of crowded. I think, you know, again, where you talk about there's no right or wrong, it's your experiences which count, because they're the only things that make your autonomy and make, you know, create that ability for you to be able to be an expert at that. No one else has had that experience but you. No one else has been able to handle all the different elements and the layers of that experience but you. And I think that's where I think the power of what we do comes out a lot more. It doesn't matter whether you are completely qualified and certified in particular things right the way through to having zero. It's more the fact of stay in your lane, be more authentic with what your experiences are, and be able to drive and work through that, which I think you've kind of unearthed in what you've just said there. What about what Karen was asking? Because I've got some more questions coming in.
Yeah, let me just I'll come to the coaching one after that, but let me just continue on what we just talked about. So yeah, I'm not saying that did I get it right from the beginning? No, I tried the whole hard selling thing, and afterwards I got off the stage and was like, oh, that just didn't feel right for me. So I always encourage my clients, whether it's on a one-to-one coaching level or at my events or my online programs, to always do what feels right. Not you think is right, the strategy that you should be doing. What do you think works for you? Because at the end of the day, people buy people. That's it. So now when it comes to, on the flip side of this, when it comes to chasing someone because you want their time, maybe they're a mentor, advisor, a celebrity, I say chase them till they fucking say yes. Chase them till they say yes. Because at the same time, the same rule applies. People buy people. So I've had people chase me all the time, right? For my time, they want to buy me a coffee, etc., etc. If there's something about that person I don't like, or I know that their intention is not good, or they just want to get stuff from me, I don't reply. But then there's people like you, that the minute you send me a message, I replied. And then we went back and forth for about a month.
Yeah.
Because of what I know of you, your energy, your intention in what you're doing, I replied immediately.
Yes.
So that's the difference. I'm saying chase. You know, if you want to get in touch with Tony Robbins, you know, I got some time with Jack Canfield, the top success coach in America. I was like, I just want to chase him. I got my book in his hand. Then he went on stage in front of 3,000 people, promoted my book, said, this is a brilliant book, everyone should read this, and then came to me and said, you can use that for a quote on the front of your book. So the value of my book just went up, but if I didn't chase him, it wouldn't have happened. But at the same time, if Jack didn't buy into me as a person, he wouldn't have done that for me. He didn't have to take my book on stage or say you can use that. So now coming to the coaching question. Am I right in thinking that with everyone becoming a coach now, what do I think of that and what's my opinion?
Yeah.
I could be quite opinionated on this, but I'm just going to put it simply. I'm going to put it very plain and simple. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, how much you've studied, what books you've read. If you want to help other people and you have the ability to be paid for that, call yourself a coach. But your intention and your motivational driver for doing that, in my opinion, must be to help people, not make money.
Yes.
My personal opinion is I have a real issue with people saying, may become a 6-figure this, 7-figure this. If you just focus on adding enough value, if you add £50,000 of value a year to people's lives, you're going to get approximately £50,000 remuneration, £50,000 reward, £50,000 kickback. If you give £500,000 of value, you're going to get £500,000. So I actually wrote on Facebook the other day saying, don't sell that or don't think or focus on, I want to make £600,000 a year. think I want to help 600,000 people a year. If you can help 600,000 people a year, you're going to earn way more than £600,000 a year. Yeah. So it's just about adding more value. So for any coaches out there that are already coaches, I urge you to reassess, why do you coach? And to remind yourself every day that it's not about you, it's about the people that you serve. Yes. And as long as you're focusing on the people that you serve, because the universe is always in fair exchange, the more you serve, the more you'll receive. And for any people that want to be coaches, the same rule applies. Ask yourself, why do I want to be a coach? Write down 100, 200, 300 reasons why you want to serve and help other people and make an impact in the world, starting with 1 and then 2 and then 3 people, 5 people, 10 people. And that will give you the motivational driver to go out and do it. But if you are your monetary reward is all you are focused on as a coach, I think you're in the wrong business.
Yeah. He is bringing the fire. That's it's so true.
It's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Well, look, at the end of the day, it's important, it's value, because you've built your whole business and your whole being around this now. For you, it's more about the other person. It's about what value you're adding in, whether it's about fitness, whether it's about well-being, health, transformation, that life of extraordinary. It's all about the audiences. It's all about others. It's not about you. You said you don't have a perfect life, and I don't think that perfection lasts in a moment. It doesn't last in a lifetime, in my opinion. It's the kind of thing that, as soon as you reach that perfect moment, it restarts the cycle again, which means you're going through the processes again. You can never have it exactly the way you want it all the time. But what you do is your focus it's not about me, it's about what's happening out around me. My heart is fulfilled when I can fulfill others in that respect. And I think that natural energy and aura starts to move things so much more on beyond. I've got to get some of these comments in, and guys, we've only got JP on for another 20 to 25 minutes, so get your questions in. You know what, he's already been on for about half an hour. He's dropping serious bombs.
I'm taking my family to lunch, but they know I'm passionate about this, so if we go over, it's not a big issue. Just while you're looking at the questions, yes, very quickly, I just wanted to say on the back of that, one thing I forgot to mention was, for any coaches that are looking to coach, I've coached coaches, right, over the years. I coached one guy, and he was, passionate. He said he had 3 or 4 clients, and I said, how much do you charge for coaching? And he said, I haven't started charging yet. Right, here's another bomb, if you want to call it that. If you're not charging for what you do, you're not a coach. You don't have a career, you have a hobby. It's just a hobby. You must charge according to what you're worth. And what are you worth? Write down everything that you've achieved in your life and how valuable that makes you, including the certificates, the qualifications, the life experiences, the adversity, the challenges you've overcome. And then put a value amount next to that. How much would you pay to spend time with yourself? A session, a week, a month, a year. And that's how much you should charge. Another thing is, once again, when it comes to people by people, is just sell your passion, sell your enthusiasm, sell your willingness to create change in people's lives. You don't have to sell your success stories. It's okay to have a few testimonials on your website or whatever, but constantly screaming about how good you are, it's not necessary. Is it right or wrong? I'm not saying that. But once again, I'm here to disrupt. I'm here to give my opinion. I'm saying it's not necessary. I don't share my clients' names. Most of my clients don't know who each other are. I don't share anything about my clients. I don't need to. My results speak for themselves. Yeah. And people that come to me, they work with me not because of who I've worked with, but because they trust me that I can help them go to where they want to go.
I was just going to say, actually, it's the result more. I think this is what more people want. It's not just that what they want to see, but it's also what they want to understand. That are you able to take me to the point of destination, to where I want to be, as opposed to all this. He's great, he's great, he's great, he's great. I mean, there are, testimonials do carry certain weights in that, into that certain aspect. So very quickly, because I'm going to go back in and find out who else
Ketan,
has joined us. Yeah.
Ketan, sorry, everyone knows what to do.
Yeah.
Everyone generally knows what to do. If I want to get fitter, I know what to do. If I want to make money, I know what to do. The reason why the way you'll be a very successful coach is you can get people to trust that you can be the guy to hold them accountable. And whether it's hold their hand, stroke their back, or kick them up the ass, they just need to know that they can trust you. That's it.
There you go. It's pure and simple from the main man himself. So we've got Michelle Raymond's joined us. She goes, yes, Jean-Pierre De Villiers is in the house. Cool Mahay's on with us. Shamalia Mahmood. Michelle's giving some props to Karen Black for her question. Cool saying, hey, he goes, staying authentic is my most comfortable position. Clients and leads will come to you as a result of who you are. 100% agree. Different thing works for different people, but I am completely in alignment with you, JP. Michelle said, I totally agree. Babe. People by people, content-rich information always sells. Ick has joined us. Eric Fiery, hey GP, he's the man, helping many
he's one of my students.
Perfect. He's giving you the props. Roberta's joined us from Brazil. Hi. Maya Tridrick's gut feelings are a very powerful thing. Cool Mahay saying boop, boom, mic drop. Just focus on giving value rather than focus on making money. Pete Scott's joined us. Pretty Shah's joined us. Michelle Raymond, preach Jean-Pierre. It's true. Don't go into coaching if you want to make money. People first, all day, every day. Great, get it done, JP. Pete Scott saying, and he's giving you props. So a couple of things here. I mean, you're resonating. Obviously, what you're talking about is resonating with our audiences. It's also something. Please.
Can I just give a very quick props to Pete? Yes. Pete's my boy, right? Pete's my boy. We're going to be in Dubai a week from now.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to be learn from a sales trainer that literally cares about helping people sell, he's your guy. He's amazing.
Oh, look at that, even recommendations coming up. Well, one thing I got for you, Pete, as well, I saw the post when you said you're going to Dubai. Make sure you do a Facebook Live from the top of Burj Khalifa. I did one from there. It's just amazing to do. Make sure you do a live from up there. It'll be great, and I'll definitely tune in for this. So, JP, we've kind of, we've gone through the essence of what you're doing in your life and what your opinions are within the industry and stuff like this. You've gone through transformation in a big way for yourself in terms of setting yourself up from being a rock star DJ to now being someone who really engages extraordinary lives into people. We understand the depth of what you went through in terms of the Tony Robbins and the secret and stuff like this. It's kind of the irony of the fact that someone introduced you to Tony Robbins and you're now one of his master of ceremonies for the Success Resources programs, for his Unleash the Power Within. You're kind of within that circuit. You've got to meet the main man himself on a number of occasions, which is, it kind of builds your career up in the sense that you haven't chased it to a certain extent, but you have persisted. I want to make a very, very clear distinction that you haven't just sat there and said, I've got to meet him, I've got to meet him, I've got to meet him. It's I've got to keep doing things to get closer and closer and closer, and at that moment of impact, it hits. I know that there are a lot of people watching this show who are interested in speaking, and more particularly international speaking. What advice do you have for people that are thinking about actually trying to get on stages outside of the UK or their native countries? Wow, another great question. First of all, was I lucky? Absolutely not. Did I hound people? No, I was just persistent in my efforts. Every single day, I have done things to keep allowing me to grow, keep allowing me to move in my career. So without giving this person away, because I don't want people to hound him or her. But when I first started my speaking career, at the same time in that year, I got nominated for Health Coach of the Year by a certain association in the UK. Mm-hmm. And when I went to this dinner, I found out at this dinner, this is quite a few years ago, I found out at this dinner that the owner of the largest seminar organizer in the world, who promote Tony Robbins, that he or she was there. I'm going to say that. And I made a point to go sit down next to this person. And I must have been, I don't know, mid-20s, maybe late 20s. And I said, hi, I'm Jean-Pierre. You don't know me yet, but I'm going to speak for you one day. And I gave him or her a little wink. And I think I gave it away over there. I gave him or her a little wink and left it at that. And this person laughed. And then about a year later, this person started seeing me at events. And I went to every single event that they ran that I could. And I greeted this person every time with a smile. How are you? How are you doing? And then I was also, apart from that, I was consistent in showing up. That's number one, right? I often say that
To be successful, the first thing you need to do is show up. Whether that's you want to be a speaker, whether that's you want to get a job, whether that's you want to get fitter, just show up. Just put on your shoes, metaphorically speaking. Put on your shoes and do something. So the second thing, I was consistent in my message. I've always been consistent in my message, and every day in every way, I'm looking for ways to share and spread what I know, whether Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. And have I been perfect at that? No. I've done podcasts and then stopped. I've done live videos and then not done them for a while. I did videos every day for 150 days approximately, and then that died down. Now I'm so busy that I've actually hired a social media person. So I have someone working for me full time who handles my social media, video editing, Facebook memes, all that stuff. So they can do that. And it's, so I can crack on and do what I need to do, so I can be more consistent to get me to where I want to go, while I'm still giving that consistent value. So the key is consistent value. Consistently show up. Where do you want to be? Where do you see your life? And where do you literally need to go and show up? And how often can you show up there? The second thing is be consistent in your presence. Or as a sales trainer in America, Grant Cardone says, be omnipresent. Be everywhere. Be everywhere. And some people say, posting twice a day or 3 times a day or 10 times a day is too much, or, newsletters twice a week is too much. Look, if people don't like the amount of content they get from you, they're not going to buy from you anyway. Yeah. So give them as much stuff as you can. Once again, this is my opinion. Give them as much stuff as you can, because that's what you should be doing. That's what you're obligated to do if you're passionate about your product and service. Give as much away as you can and do it consistently. Don't show up when you're feeling in a good mood. And then when you're not feeling in a great mood, or you take a holiday, you're not around for a week or two. Everyone in my life knows, whether personally or through my professional life, everyone knows that I'm always showing up. And even if I don't feel like doing the video, I do a video. If I said to myself, I'm going to do a video that way. So consistent with showing up, consistent with providing value to your market. And the third thing would be identify what exactly it is that you want. Once you've identified that, go and find the people that already have that, and spend as much time with them as possible. See, there's 2 people that I've modeled for the last half a decade to a decade, one and the other, but it's Success Resources and Tony Robbins. To me, Tony Robbins is the most successful coach, speaker, and trainer in the world, making the biggest impact in the way I want to do it. Number 2, I want to have I have business partners. I have a separate business which we do seminars, and I want to have an incredibly successful seminar business globally that provides value, education, and inspiration for people who want it and need it. Who are the best at doing this in the world? Success Resources, without a doubt. And I've modeled them in every way. And funny that I now promote Tony Robbins and speak on Success Resources stages. It's not a freaking coincidence.
No, exactly. I love that. I just for me, it's also we talked about visibility, but it's also about networks as well. How effective do your networks need to be, and the power of networking in what you do? I mean, you gave the story about where you went and sat with a particular person, and you said to him, "Hi, you've never met me before, but this is who I am, and one day I'm going to be on one of your stages." I mean, that oozes a little bit of confidence and maybe a slight part of ego, but then that's the breaking point. So just coming back again. Power of networks. There's that saying that says that your net worth is equal to your network. How much of that resonates with you in your business and what you do?
Ketan, I love your questions. There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire, man or woman. And I'm totally aware of this. I have been for many years. Could I do what I do on my own? Absolutely. Would I be doing as well as I am right now? Absolutely not. I have an incredible business coach. I have an incredible, I'll name all of them, Andrew Priestley. I have an incredible life coach that I check in with when I'm not behaving at my best, Michelle Zelli. I have an incredible friends and networks, like people like Daniel Priestley, who I do my very best to spend time with, because these guys are geniuses in their own right. I have an extraordinary assistant that helps me with everything. I now have a second assistant. I have a social media person. I have 2 business partners. One who's retired and bought and sold, was part of a company buying and selling businesses in the millions. So she helps me make sure that I'm focusing on what I need to do and everyone else is doing the best around me. I have another business partner who's a sales guru for an international organization, former client of mine, and he came into my business. So he helps me stay on track of numbers and what are the goals that we have in place, because we are a business. I can be as passionate as I want, but a business is about money. So I have a massive team around me. Apologies if I've forgotten anyone. But this is my tribe. My accounting team and bookkeeping team, Amal and Santa, Simothy from Accountingpreneur, extraordinary people that help me. I don't have to worry about numbers. I'm going to say I don't have to worry about numbers. I don't concern myself with what's going on, what needs to be submitted. They take care of all of that. Is it easy for anyone to do that? No. It took me 10 years to build this team. 8 years ago, I said I wanted to build a team around me, and it started with Amanda, my assistant, and now I have all these people. So am I thriving as a result of surrounding myself with champions? Absolutely yes. And do I believe that anyone listening to this would do better than they already are if they surrounded themselves with the right people? 1000% yes.
It's just the way you talk about it, and again, it goes back to that whole people by people thing about the authenticity of things. So I just want to flip that question a little bit now into value exchange and what that means to you, because to have a Daniel Priestley, to have an Andrew Priestley, to have Amal. I mean, I know some of the people that you're referencing to within this kind of team. There's this whole integrity of the relationship that you build with them, the way in which they see you, the trust that you have. But recently I was introduced to the concept of value exchange as well, and understanding not just about your value, but what's the value of how you introduce your network and how you connect other people, because it's not just about the amount of people that you're connecting with for yourself. Behind the scenes, you're also actually creating a lot of connectivity between other people as well, because they become form part of your network. So, what does the term value exchange mean to you, and how important is that in your business, and what kind of advice would you give to those out there that need to build on that?
No, I'm going to be honest. Can you ask a better question? So it was there was a really long build up, a lot of fluff. Just ask me a more direct question.
So, okay, value exchange. What does it mean? What does it mean to you in your business? And what kind of advice do you have about value exchange for those that are out there building their networks as sort of up and coming coaches or personal
So there's 2 things that are going on in my mind right now. Are you talking about a fair value exchange when it comes to supplying your product or service, or you're talking about having a value exchange when partnering with someone and you doing something for them and them doing something for you?
Well, that's interesting you say that, because it is how it's seen. I mean, when I first asked the question, I was taken on the basis of how you built your network and how you're building through there. Where does value exchange build in with that? I'm connecting other people with other people, and then I suppose the flip of this is the value exchange that comes up of what you have as a service.
No one does anything for nothing, right? Come on. No one does anything for nothing. I mean, actually not. Actually, probably some people do, but they think they're doing it for nothing. But actually, they're doing it because it feeds their significance, or maybe it gives them some connection with people. So I would never do anything for nothing. Do I expect people to work with me for nothing? Absolutely not. But once again, like you said, having the ability to build a strong team around you comes down to the same thing that I mentioned before, people by people. It's that trust thing. It's that trust thing. You need to have people around you that trust you, so that even when you have a dark moment, a dark week, dark month, they're there. And they're not just there in the good times, but they're there in all times. So whether things are going well or things are not going so well, it doesn't matter. You guys stick strong together.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of memes and stuff going on Facebook, like your real friends and real supporters, although those are the ones that are there in the tough days, etc., as opposed to only on the good days. But I pay the people Sometimes I can't pay them as much as I want. Sometimes I want them to do more work than they're doing. Sometimes they've got to be very patient with me. But the reason why people stick with me is not because of the money they're getting from me.
Yeah.
Now, that's for them to be able to do what they love, to work with me, they need to get paid. That's it. But that's not why they work with me. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
For them to continue working with me, they must get paid, but that's not why they work with me. They work with me because maybe something about what I do inspires them. Maybe they like their connectedness. Maybe they like feeling a part of something that's bigger than themselves. I don't know, right? There's my assistant just logging in. Amanda, you're amazing. Amanda Farris, you can see she's just joined. Yeah. Amanda, I've just big ups to you for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, you'll have to go back and watch it to see it, to hear it all. We are fast coming out of time. I have one more question for you in this session.
So I'm going to interrupt you there just because I feel like I didn't really answer that. What do I think about value exchange? Don't do what you do for free. Make sure that the people helping you respect the fact that they are helping you, and you don't have to give them a fair value exchange in money. There's plenty of other ways to help people. You can promote them, you can give them clients, you can send them work, you can share their content. But the universe is always in fair value, fair exchange of value. So if someone's giving you something and you're not giving something back in return, eventually that relationship will end or it will turn sour. And the same goes on the flip side of that. So all yours.
Beautiful, beautiful. Look at this. I think maybe I should get you to come and host my shows as well, basically. But Bigger Disruptors with JP De Villiers. I think that's a nice
sorry for interrupting you.
No. This is all about anything goes on the LOD, really. So listen. My last question to you, and really it's more of a sort of a push out there, just to sort of recapture the whole essence of this conversation that we had. You know, what does it take to create an extraordinary life? So what tips do you have for anyone out there who, who says, I'm not living the life that I want to, and, what is this, what do I need to do to create an extraordinary life? What's the advice that you give?
I do many different types of training, right? From corporate B2B to B2C to little events, one-to-one coaching. So it depends on what surface level you're talking about. But I would say the first thing that comes to mind is, number one, get crystal clear on what it is that you want. Not what you think you should do, not what you think the world thinks you should do. What do you want? What do you really, really want to do? And get as much detail to that as possible. Number two is, before you even start that journey and pursuing that, be willing to take massive, massive risks. No successful person ever succeeded without taking massive risks. And, if you need to, make them as calculated as possible, but I should probably make my risks more calculated. I take massive risks. Some of the risks that I take, my family and friends are like, man, you are crazy. But number one, get crystal clear on what it is that you want. Number two, be willing to take massive risks. Number three, dare to dream. Don't even when you're struggling, even when you're achieving things, dare to dream bigger. Keep 10xing, keep 20xing, keep going bigger, 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 because you're always going to fall short on your goal. So rather aim for 2 million and come short on that, rather than aiming for 20,000 and aiming short on that. So dare to dream big. And then the fourth one is to work your ass off. Work your ass off. And, I don't care what anyone says. People can tell me I work too much. I don't work a day in my freaking life. I jump out of bed most mornings. Last Friday and Saturday, I ran an event in Ireland, in Dublin. I set my alarm for 5 a.m. I got up at 5:55 and 5:54. This morning, my alarm was set for 5. I got up at 4:58. So I'm getting up a few minutes before my alarm goes off. And these are on the days where I'm most excited to get up, because I'm living my passion. I'm living my dream, and therefore I work on it every day and night. You see, you couldn't go to Richard Branson or the Grant Cardones and the Tony Robbinses and say, what days do you work and what days do you not work? They'd look at you and they'd bloody laugh. There's no differentiation between a weekday and a weekend day, or an on day or an off day. It's just their life. Yeah. That's how they live. Now I appreciate this time to relax, meditate, be calm, be still, be at ease. But you can do that throughout your day. I went for a nice family walk this morning. I'm going for lunch with my family now. Yeah. And then I'm back on the grindstone, baby, until tonight.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Love you.
So, how can the world connect with you? Where can they find out more about the programs that you offer, the courses that you have, the immersion programs? What are the connectivity points and links? I know that there are going to be people out there that want to find more out about what you're doing and get access to it. So, how can we do that?
I'd say probably the best place is actually just to come back to your last question. I never want to leave a question unfinished. The 4 areas that I focus on in my life to keep my life extraordinary is my focus, my mindset, my fuel. We spoke about that, return on ingestion, not just the food I'm taking in, but all the information from books and the people around me. Yeah. My physical and emotional fitness and my function. Think of a sports car, Formula One car. I'm the driver in that car. But it's not just up to me as the driver to win. It's not just because of me that's going to win that race. It comes down to every single part on the car, the tires, the spoiler, the fuel, etc. So how well are you functioning as the driver in the race of your life as a result of everything that you're surrounded by, including the tools, the techniques, the strategies, the people, your lifestyle, your sleep, the champions in your life, the role models, the education that you're taking on. So it's those 4 things I always look at. How is my focus? How is my fuel? How is my physical and emotional fitness right now? Do I feel ready to attack the day? And how well am I functioning as a peak performer as a result of the machine that I'm in and what I'm surrounding myself with? So how can people connect with me? I'd say the easiest thing is Facebook. Facebook.com/JPDV Peak Performance. I'm on Instagram as well. You can either connect through my Facebook page or you can go directly to Instagram. I think it's just Jean-Pierre De Villiers. Mm-hmm. And then my website. We're a bit behind, but generally my events are on my events page on my website. We're uploading it now. So for the next 3 months of events, should be up by the end of today or tomorrow. But I'd say Facebook. Facebook is my thing. Whether it's live videos, content, inspiration, funny moments. I'm always on Facebook. I do my best to be there all the time. I'm not a blog guy. I'm not a newsletter guy. It doesn't feel right for me. It's not my thing. Every now and again, if I feel like sending an email out to my list, I do it, but only because it feels right in that moment. But 99.9% of the time, it doesn't feel good to email.
Well, there you have it. What an explosive session. We've learned so much about the different aspects from the mind, the soul, leading with serving, knowing what you want and desire, right the way through to daring to dream and pushing the boundaries of what your targets and achievements can be. But one of the most important things that JP has come back with here just now has been capturing about working your ass off towards it as well. It's not going to fall in your plate. Don't look at it as work. It's got to be something you're passionate about and that's going to drive you. And all of a sudden, it's not a case of Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. It's whatever, whenever, however, with whoever. I think, we've learnt a lot today from the main man himself, who's here, and I cannot wait to have him on again at some point in the future.
My pleasure. As long as we can make it work, I'll be there. Can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
Oh, I told you, how amazing is my PA? She's already gone in your feed and added my Facebook link to my Facebook page. She's just on it like that.
On it.
So can I share one more thing?
Sure.
You might have heard this before to the people listening, but other people's opinion of you is exactly that. It's their opinion. It's not a fact. Just because someone says something about you or about what you're doing, it doesn't make it the truth. So do your thing. Live on your terms and live a life that is extraordinary for you, not for anyone else. And remember this along the way. I hope you remember this 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. You're going to piss people off. You're going to lose friends. You're going to have people in your network on Facebook or whatever unfriend you. I love going onto Facebook and Facebook suggesting a friend that I was already connected with. Because I know for them to be disconnected with me, I know it's because I've got something to say, right? And the only way for you to live a life where no one dislikes you is to say nothing. You know, you could live a life in the corner of a room and we could bring you 3 meals a day. But that's not a way to live. That's no way to live. So go out and do your thing, make a ruckus, be a disruptor, and do what is extraordinary for you. And in order for you to do that, all you have to do is give, 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 give. Not what other people tell you you should give, what you want to give in your heart. Your one message, the one thing that you want to share with the world. Go do that and screw everyone else.
Oh my God. JP De Villiers, we salute you.
It's been a pleasure, dude. It's been a pleasure.
It's
Lots of love.
So what an explosive session. And that's it. We're out of time. So make sure you're connecting with JP on Facebook. If you're not already connected to him, you can go back and rerun this video. It will be on the YouTube playlist live, and we'll be sharing it back through again. But for now, JP De Villiers, thank you so much for your time, wisdom, and everything that you've brought to the show. The League of Disruptors is never going to be quite the same again since you've come on. And really enjoy the rest of your day, and the very best of luck with everything that you're doing with your new program and everything that that's set out this year. But for now, that's it. We've come to an end. Stay tuned. 8:30 tonight, we have Lena Kay coming on to talk about the art of transformation. But at this stage now, I just want to leave you to say that I'm Ketan Makwana. This is the League of Disruptors show, and we will see you really, really soon.